Okay, so next session will be the Advertiser of the Year panel. What it takes to win, lesson from Indonesia's 2024 Advertiser of the Year. Nah, sebelum kita masuk ke panel berikutnya, kita akan putar video dari showcase Agen 1000 Sunlight Empowering Indonesian Women dan Me Time to We Time Reuniting Families in Ramadan.
In small towns across Indonesia, every rupiah counts. For mothers, to be able to do more isn't just a hope, but often requiring them to overcome barriers and push beyond their limits. But we believe true radiance comes from unlocking potential. Sunlight's market position in West Java is threatened by competition. To increase relevance, Sunlight used growth hacking.
Di mana ada peluang, di situ pasti ada aku.
Jadi kepikir itu bersikeras pengen punya usaha, pengen punya peluang usaha, cari-cari sana kemari.
Engage consumers personally, igniting their entrepreneurial spirit and helping them build brighter futures. Introducing Agen 1000 Sunlight, a program designed to empower women to earn additional income and enhance their business knowledge. In collaboration with PNM, the largest government-owned microfinancing institution, we recruited 1,000 housewives across West Java region to become our agents. They are provided with special selling package, all-in-one digital tracking system, and comprehensive training to answer their 3 barriers: capital, tools, and time. We digitized our agent approach, enabling them training, engagement, and sales monitoring via WhatsApp, as well as taught them to promote through social media content. This campaign was held in 6 cities in West Java. The agents can be found in neighborhoods. We amplified their voices through inspiring short films and social media campaigns. As we presented them as Ibu Bersinar, shining moms, showcasing their journeys of empowerment and financial independence. Within 3 months, the campaign recruited over 1,000 agents, gained 60K new consumers, and increased agents' income by 70%. It also boosted Sunlight's market growth in West Java by 3.7%. Agent 1000 Sunlight is more than just numbers. It's a new channel to do one-on-one marketing. It turned around Sunlight's penetration, empowering Indonesian women to achieve their dreams and support their families.
In today's fast-paced world, convenience often overshadows tradition. Ramadan, a time meant for family and togetherness, has seen a shift. Quick meals replace shared dinners, and me time takes precedence over we time. Bango, rooted in Indonesian culinary heritage, launched the Me Time to We Time campaign. This initiative empowered homemakers with quick, easy recipes to rediscover the joy of cooking and reignite the spirit of togetherness. The campaign employed a multi-tiered approach to engage audiences at key moments. Phase 1 focused on inspiration and accessibility. We began by launching quick and easy recipes across TV and digital platforms, showing that delicious Ramadan meals didn't require hours of preparation. With the help of beloved celebrity Nagita Slavina, we demonstrated how these recipes could fit even the busiest schedules, making them accessible to all. Phase 2 was about participation and personalization. Viewers were invited to share their culinary masterpieces, turning passive viewing into active participation. By using the participant's name in the thank you note, sent right away by Nagita on Instagram.
Hai Aprilia, hai Alexa, hai Abi. Makasih udah jadi duta masak Semur Bangun.
We enhanced user engagement with a heartwarming and innovative touch. Recognizing the 24% surge in recipe searches on YouTube during Ramadan, we placed our recipe videos alongside popular cooking content, ensuring maximum visibility and inspiration. Amplification and connection was delivered in Phase 3. We extended the campaign beyond digital, with digital out-of-home displays showcasing user-generated content, amplifying the message of togetherness. Our Bango food truck toured 9 major cities, offering immersive live cooking demonstrations by a renowned chef, further amplifying our digital efforts. Our integrated approach significantly improved brand metrics. Campaign reached 88% of the target audience, delivering over 41 million paid media impressions and over 13.4 million impressions of user-generated content. Brand witnessed significant improvements in key metrics across awareness to purchase intent. A 330 basis points increase in sales proved the power of purpose-driven marketing. But most importantly, countless families rediscovered the joy of cooking and eating together, strengthening their bonds and reclaiming the true spirit of Ramadan. Bango, turning me time into we time this Ramadan.
Baik, tadi Sunlight dan Bangau ini hanya sebagian dari brand-brand under Unilever yang juga mendapatkan awards dari Smarties di antara tahun 2022 hingga 2024. Ada Close Up, ada Walls, Molto, Clear, Rinso, Lifebuoy, Vaseline, Rexona, Clear, Dove, Pepsodent, Axe, Tresemme, dan Pond's. Amazing sekali. Mari kita berikan tepuk tangan sekali lagi untuk Unilever. Baik, tanpa berlama-lama segera saya akan mengundang moderator Mr. Rajan V untuk naik ke atas panggung please. And then to join him on stage, please Miss Nuning Wahyuningsih, Marketing Director from Foods, and Mr. Berto Kotze, Marketing Director for Homecare, please.
Right, thank you Berto, Nuning, for carving out time for this. Like seriously, privileged that you have taken the time and you're present here to help us all decode marketing ways of Unilever. If I look at some of the presentations that we saw earlier, it's quite evident that the pace of change in the marketing and media ecosystem is unprecedented. From a time of TV first to digital first to now social and AI first, they are changing the rules every day, so to speak. If you look at the competitor landscape, that's also becoming, hard to predict. However, in all these seismic changes that we are observing, there has been one constant, and that has been the sheer quality of marketing coming out of Unilever. 3 years in a row, winning the Advertiser of the Year cannot just be a streak. It almost appears like there is a system in place, there is a well-oiled machine within Unilever that is churning out these great marketing campaigns for you to not just be constantly keeping pace with the changing landscape, but also constantly ahead of that landscape. And that's precisely why we are here. My goal is to peel back the layers, really decode as to how you are doing this. And given your more than 2 decades of experience of each one of you, I think who better placed than the both of you to help us with that. And so let's kick off with my first question, which goes to both of you. Perhaps Nuning, you can take that up first. What are the fundamental non-negotiable principles shared across your teams that have fueled this incredible sustained success?
Yeah, thank you, Rajan. I think it's also truly an honor that Unilever can participate in Smarties MMA and able to contribute into the marketing and advertising industry. I think, And what makes this recognition meaningful is not just a reflection of one campaign only, actually, but it's also about the consistent, purposeful work that is being done by our brand team. Yeah. And I can share throughout my experience, 20 years plus doing marketing, and about some fundamentals that drive this kind of sustained success. Yeah. In Unilever, we always start with consumer. ever since I joined Unilever, I think that was kind of the spirit that we always live and breathe, that we need to understand that whatever we do, we need, it has to start with a deep understanding of consumer. Not just about the product they use or what they buy, but it's also understanding what are their values, consumer tension, and also motivation, and how the culture evolve around them. Yeah, and because by understanding them, then our communication can become more empathetic, relevant, and also human. And second is about the creative bravery supported with data. Our team are really encouraged to do experimentation, to be bold, playful, then sometimes even a little uncomfortable. So like within our team, whenever we do the creative exercise, we always ask ourselves, find the butterfly. Because when you find the butterfly in your tummy, yeah, like this kind of discomfort, it means that you push boundaries. It's not you're just doing something that you already know or you're already comfortable, but it's really pushing your instinct to go beyond. And we combine that with a strong measurement. We are quite rigorous in terms of the testing and also understanding what works and what doesn't work. So then with that and clear KPI, then it's a combination that, of creativity that keep up sharp but also accountable. Yeah, and last point, third point is on the embracing digital first and innovation. I think this is something that we always need to do because the world keep evolving, especially in Smarties where digital innovation is really key. We build campaign not just for the sake of viral, but we also want to make sure that it make impact to the business and then it drive change to the industry as well. Yeah.
Oh, great. So basically what you're saying is that there are certain principles which are tested through time and they don't change, right? So there is pushing the boundary on creative communication, independent of the change in the landscape. There is consumer insight, which is very, very important, and the spirit of innovation that also, is very important. Now, Berto, same question to you. What is the secret sauce of this sustained success?
I don't know if there's a secret sauce, but there's a couple of thoughts that I have. But firstly, thank you to Shanti and to Rohit for inviting us here today. My LinkedIn feed has been filled with people receiving MMA awards in other parts of the world. So it just shows the power and the strength of MMA everywhere. So thank you. To come back to the question, I think one of the things that that is a strength of Unilever is the fact that we're a global organization and we're a big global organization. And we're lucky enough to be part of a big marketing machine. It's not just us in Indonesia. Of course, there's a lot of creativity and agility and excitement in Indonesia. But there's a lot that comes down from the global central marketing organization in terms of guidelines, frameworks, principles, and so on. And we're lucky enough to be exposed to that. So recently, about a month ago, Nuning and I think almost about 150 marketeers in Unilever and agencies, partners, and so on, had a full-day event where we were cascaded the latest global strategy on creating demand generation at scale. And we talked about things like communities, hacking culture, generating content at scale, things like that, which is super, exciting for a young assistant brand managers to be exposed to that. And I think coupling that then together with the freedom and the agility that we have here in Indonesia to go and explore, to do activities and so on is fantastic. An example that comes to mind for me is something we did recently on Sunlight, where Sunlight is a big global brand. It's a €1 billion brand. It's one of our top 14 brands globally. And so it's very strict, your packaging comes from global, your concept comes from global, your claims, etc. But we have a lot of flexibility here to do things. So our claim on Sunlight is 10 times faster degreasing, right? Because it's also a global claim. But how do we bring that alive in Indonesia? So we worked and we brainstormed, we had a few ideas, and we said, what is the icon of speed, fast? What is the icon of speed in Indonesia? And we came up with a local insight, it's the whoosh, right? Everyone knows the whoosh. And so we went and we were lucky enough to partner with the whoosh. We had a great campaign, we had a launch activity. We had, we've managed to get them onto our point of sale material. So you got Sunlight and the whoosh, and the claim is degreases as fast as the whoosh. And so for me, that's a really good example of using global frameworks within the global frameworks, but having the agility and the creativity that Nuning was talking about, to execute locally. And then I think the other strength that we have, and there are other companies like that as well, but is the fact that we have multiple brands and multiple categories within the company. So in a career, you in Unilever, you can work on Rinso for a few years, and then you can move to ice cream, and then you can work sometime in B&W, and you get those experiences in different categories that just build your marketing excellence and skills. And that breadth of experience, I think, is something that really helps someone through their marketing career.
That's great. So richness of experience is at play. There's also, you made a point about agility and creativity. That leads me to the next question to Nuning. Can you share a campaign moment or a decision that you took as part of campaign planning where agility truly made the difference between good and award-winning? Yeah.
Okay, so one moment that really make difference between a good and award-winning campaign was during actually the campaign that won Smarties last year, the Bango Mid Time and With Time Ramadan campaign. Yeah, because for Bango, Ramadan is a very important moment, and this is where the sales peak, and then also where the consumer really engage with the brand, and we've been doing it year on year. So we sort of have the playbook already on how to run a strong Ramadan campaign. And even if we keep doing it exactly as the playbook that we have, I'm sure that the campaign result will be quite solid. But then we wanted to do more. We wanted to do to push the boundaries. So we are thinking like, what are the new things coming in? I think that's where AI just started last year. Not many brands playing on it, so we jump into it and then see how we can see to integrate the campaign with the AI. So I think this is where we made an agile bold decision to integrate the AI into overall campaign. The result was amazing because with AI, it's enabled Bango to do personalization at scale. Yeah, we see from the consumer that engage with Bango content, they get all the message that is personalized by, with Nagita Slavina voice, but then using the like greeting personally that make the engagement is even better. I think that's where AI helped the brand to connect emotionally, yeah. Because during the Ramadan, normally consumer also bombarded with promo. But then how we engage them in such personal way that would make the engagement better.
It was one of my favorite campaigns from last year, not on account of AI, but because of Nagita. But speaking of AI and tech tools, there's so many of them now. My question is twofold. How best to have a strategy to integrate the technology into our marketing work, but at the same time be cautious of not giving it too much control that it impacts our brand authenticity. What is your sort of thinking behind ensuring that?
Look, I think tech, AI, all of these things is developing very fast, and we used to talk about a VUCA world, what volatile, uncertain, ambiguous, etc. I think that's part of our normal day, normal life these days. If I think about how quickly the marketing world is changing, can you believe that 3 years ago Unilever wasn't allowed to advertise on TikTok, right? So we were told no, it's not safe. We don't know what's going on, etc. So we weren't allowed to. As marketeers, we were like, well, we want to do stuff, but we couldn't. And now, some of the best work we're doing and some of our largest volume of content is going through TikTok. So we have to change, we have to be quick, we have to be agile, we have to adapt. And I think AI is just part of that, and the tech tools are part of that. But it's important that you leverage that and you use that. And I think it's also important that the teams embrace that. So for example, in our team, we've actually changed our whole media team from a very traditional based media team working with you guys pretty much on TV campaigns, radio campaigns and so on, and doing maybe a bit of influencer marketing, to a team that is doing all of that, because that's still vitally important to us, but also that we can do some, media content generation in-house even, and using tech tools, using AI. So we have an in-house creative studio that can take assets coming from global or from regional or whatever, use not just generative but adaptive AI, change the pack shots, put into different formats, and get it out into the different media platforms within a day, which is amazing because previously you'd need to brief and then you'd have it cost a lot, etc. So we've developed that capability in-house, but we've also developed the capability to do trend jacking. So we have a small, very small 3 people in the team who are actually just employees, but they like making TikTok videos, and that allows us, and not just TikTok, other stuff, but that allows us to jump on trends. So we have daily meetings where we sit and see, this is trending, and we'll quickly brief the team, and by lunchtime they would have put out a video, and it's on trend, and we've actually seen that's where we get the highest engagement, right? So these are the type of content that really drives engagement. So I think it's about being open to change. And when you are open to change, and as a brand team, as brand leaders, managing that, you can still control that authenticity as well without losing control of it.
Pretty interesting. I think what you have just said, what we have shared here, I think a lot of that is very useful to the audience here. The audience comprises of marketers from very diverse organizations. And so Nuning, if I were to ask you this question, what advice would you give to the marketers in the audience today who aspire to build long-term brand excellence, not just from the point of view of winning awards, but to consistently lead within their respective categories and businesses?
Right. My advice is really play the long game. Yeah, because award is great. I think it's give validation, and it's also give energy and motivation to the team. But the true brand excellence isn't built on just one campaign. I think it's really the consistency, and then how we continuously show up year after year. And then sometimes it goes back to a very basic marketing, like what I mentioned at the beginning is be obsessed with the consumer, because trend can change, platform can change, but your consumer, their life, their emotion, and also tension point, I think that's where the gold is. I think that's where the source of creative is. So stay deeply to connect to consumer, and then I've been trained with Unilever to always ask how can I impact to their life, how I can make unburden their tension point or unlocking their new opportunity. I think that's question remains still relevant even up until now. Yeah, and then second is about build brand that matters. Nowadays, people can just launch product, and then the competition becomes commoditized. But don't just push for the product. Build brand with a purpose and emotional depth, and also cultural relevance. Because when your brand stands for something bigger, the work becomes also more meaningful and rewarding. Yeah, as a marketer, and on top of that, it will make lasting impact to both consumer as well as the business. And third one is be consistent but never boring. Yeah, I think we need to be open-minded, like what Berto said, always embracing what is up and coming, adopt, but don't lose your DNA. I think it's more like re-articulating in a new way. Yeah.
Play the long game, chase excellence, awards will follow, and be open-minded for innovation. Yes. That's good advice. Thank you, Noel. Yeah.
Just to add to that, I think the one point that resonates with me is being true to your brand. And the one thing that we've struggled with, or that I've struggled with, is how do you reinvent your brand for the new platforms that are out there, right? Because you've always had a brand personality, you've always had the brand values, etc. But now on social media and social first, you lose a bit of control there as well, right? Because it's in the hands of other people. Right. So that's always something that you struggle with is how do you maintain that authenticity? But I think it's about the brand evolving and us being very clear on what is the personality we want the brand to be and the face of the brand now in the changing media environment. Right. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for that point, Berto. Everyone, we will have a few minutes for questions later on. just after this last question, so please prepare your questions for the panel. So Berto, this is the last question that I have for you, and then we'll have a few from the audience. So basically from your vantage point, what is the role that your partner agencies can play in helping brands achieve this level of cross-category excellence?
So my philosophy is always that brands don't live in a vacuum, right? And marketing teams shouldn't live in a vacuum either. I've always been a big believer that I think sometimes from what I see in other parts of the world as well, is that sometimes marketeers and clients treat partner agencies more as tactical partners or as suppliers or something like that. And I think that's the biggest mistake you can make. I think if you want to work together with your agencies and with your partners, whether they're media partners, tech partners, platform partners, whatever, you have to do so collaboratively. And I think, you know, everyone has a role to play, right? The brand team is all about understanding the insight, looking at what's the opportunity, writing the brief, etc. Your creative agency cannot be integrated into culture and into your brand if they're not a strategic partner. When I came here, a lot of our brands, for every campaign we were pitching out. Yeah. And I'm like, well, how can you build brand consistency and brand love if every time you've got a different agency working on your campaign, right? So really working towards creating collaborative partnerships, your media and platform and tech partners as well. You know, creative doing their bit in terms of creative, but then how do you use tech and media to reach the right consumers in the right way, on the right platform, with the right message, etc. And you can only do that if you work collaboratively. So my view is very much that we need to do more to work as a team and less in silos.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you, Berto.
Yeah, same spirit from my end as well. Yeah, it's really not client-agency relationship, but really we are one team. And when we have a shared goal, I think that's where together we can elevate. Yeah, we can elevate and making an impact. And agencies like our wingman, we are not just you know, go as per brief, but I think it's built more strategic partnership because at the end of the day, we want the brand to really unleash the potential with the agency support as well. And you guys are the expert, say in the new platform or new.
The one thing I can vouch for is that we always feel the spirit of partnership from Unilever. So thank you for that. Now, we do have time for maybe one or two questions. Is there a question for the panel? Yes, please go ahead.
Am I getting a mic? Yeah, take this one.
Okay, I am curious because 3 years in a row you've won so many awards and, you know, won industry awards, and I know how difficult that is from our point of view. My curiosity is when there are so many, like for example, as Beverly mentioned, right? Bango won an award, ada Rexona, ada Clear, ada, you know, different brands like Close Up has won an award. So internally, I know there must be some level of competitiveness between each one of you, right? That's the drama I'm not interested in. What I'm really interested in is when you have won so many awards, does that become a benchmark within Unilever? Do you even discuss about it? Do you even share with other verticals within your organization that, okay, we've won this award, this is what worked? I mean, does that discussion happen? This is just primarily from an MMA's perspective, you know, that it's such a great achievement. But does that get carried forward internally is my curiosity.
Yeah. You want to answer?
Both of you, because you represent different, you know.
So I can briefly talk because I haven't been here the full 3 years, so I can't take credit for the 3 years of winning, you know. So there is definitely competitiveness, right? I think we wouldn't be in this business if we weren't competitive. I don't think there's enough sharing that happens internally. I think with the way that Unilever is now organized in terms of our business units being a lot more independent, we've lost a little bit of that sharing, but that's something that we want to change, and we've talked about changing, and you guys coming in, I think in the next month or so, we're trying to set up a session for all the marketeers to see the work from MMA, to get the inspiration and so on. Those things we need to do more of. There is definitely a lot of internal cascading of case studies and awards, and you know, you walk in, you always see this award or that award and so on. So we're very proud of that. But I think we need to do more to share internally.
Yeah, and you're right about the internal competition. I think we can be we can be quite excited about it, especially each category has different nature. Yeah, say for instance, probably beauty well-being or personal care is something that much more engaged in the digital and social landscape. Home care and food probably on the other side. But for us, joining MMA, Smarties, and also winning an award is it's like a stamp that you are a great marketer, you know, because internally we have a lot of KPI, and then we are deemed to fulfill that KPI at the first place, and company will appreciate when we met the KPI. But us, for a marketer, when we said that we make impact to the industry, we make impact to the consumer, or we elevate ourselves, I think the true confirmation is actually coming from the external, which is like winning award. For us, it has a different emotional reward when we won the Smarties. Yeah, I think all the marketer will be proudly holding the trophy and take picture and share on Insta. Yeah, and more and more it become the part of the goal in our, you know, every year we have sort of like 3+1 and development plan. So part of the capability building is normally we put like winning some key award that we want to benchmark ourselves. Like, are we really elevating the industry? Are we making an impact? Yeah. That's how we do it.
Every single member of my team put in their +1. 3 are business targets, and then there's a +1's development target. Every single one of them put in, we want to win more awards. So it shows people are competitive and they want to win.
Yeah.
Well, that shows that you have done a great job in marketing MMA, Shanti. Yeah. So I guess we are running out of time now, but if there is any last question, we'll... Oh, there's one, yeah.
If you have to summarize, say 1 or 2 points where you feel like we got it wrong, what are those learnings?
I've got a point at the moment where I'm struggling with, which is Unilever has come out, and I think everyone here is also doing that, where we've said social first, right? And we're talking about demand generation scale. I talked about demand generation scale. And we've got internal targets of how much of our budget needs to go onto social and onto digital, et cetera, et cetera. And they're written into our end of year targets, for example. And I find that people are just rushing in and spending money and creating thousands of pieces of content, yeah, at the moment, without really understanding the value that they're getting from a lot of that content. I'm not saying we don't know the value that we're getting from every piece of content, but there's a lot of content out there that we're not even measuring, that we're not even tracking, that we don't see what the impact of that piece of content or those pieces of content are on our brand equity, on our brand lift, on our attributes, etc. So I think that's something that we need to get better at. Maybe there are other people here that already understand that. If you do, please come and speak to us, because I need to understand that a bit better. But for me, that's the number one thing that I think we're not quite getting right at the moment is measuring and tracking those thousands of pieces of content that are going out at the moment.
I think for me is now with the social becoming something that is very important for the marketer, and then we have a tendency to chase the virality, yeah. Then eventually it's also impact to the people that we serve, like the consumer. They become the passive consumer of the content, and eventually our creativity is also not really making an impact. So I think us as a marketer, advertiser, has responsibility to re-inspire consumer to, you know, instead of doing passive consumption, we need to help them to give content that is meaningful for them, so then this passive we can make it a little bit more active. I say it's not just doom scrolling, but they get something out of our brands as well.
Great, thank you. So with that, we could close the session. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Please remain on stage, and I would like to invite Ibu Shanti and Pak Rohit to go up on stage to present the token of appreciation and take a group photo together. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, we have one more session, which is going to be our last session for today. Don't worry, we're going to get finished on time by 5 p.m. We understand that there will be a soccer match going on in GBK around 8 p.m. tonight. So don't worry, we'll try to leave Senayan in time before we get stuck in the traffic. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may back return to your seat. So the next session and our last session is the proven excellence inside the 2024 most resilient brand. And before we go with the panel, let's watch Wardas Teruskan Langkah Baikmu campaign